Hey everyone, Pupsker here. So I just finished Dying Light 2, and that means that today we're going to have a Dying Light 2 review. Generally, just gonna go over, should you buy the game? And hopefully this will change your mind of either forward or against buying the game. You decide, of course, on your own. Gameplay in the background will be just random Dying Light 2 gameplay footage. I'll make sure to cut out any story because I don't want to talk about any specifics of the story, of course, just more general. So without further ado, let's get into it, and if you end up liking it, like, comment, subscribe, usual YouTube stuff, of course. So, Dying Light 2 was a very fun game. I want to say it took me about 20 hours in total to beat it. About those 20 hours, I'd say a good 5 to 10 hours of it was me just running around, collecting inhibitors, collecting loot, just messing around because, just want to play the game, right? I'm not generally going to be rushing through the story of a game 100% really fast, right? Because that's not really how you play the game, right? Did some side quests, but all in all, I could have 100% done more side stuff, especially the side quests. I only mainly did those in the beginning, and then to the mid and the late of the story, I just kind of ignored all side quests because I was getting actually furious and just pissed off with the story of Dying Light 2. So having played through the entire game, I like the game. But the story is the worst part, so I want to get that out of the way, okay? The story is absolutely worthless. It is so generic that it's actually kind of laughable. So the story of Dying Light 2 is actually the most generic type of zombie storyline plot, right? You are looking for your sister. That's how it starts off, and then you learn more, and then, you have cool powers, kind of, but not really. It's weird, right? You'll figure out along the way as you play the game. The issue is, though, it just doesn't matter. It's hard to actually care about it. Every character in the game, in my opinion, is pretty hateable. Even the ones you're supposed to like are pretty hateable. The main character, I don't care about him at all, right? All of the characters are just like NPCs, main characters in the story. You're a character. Everyone is just a stupid NPC. Just, they're doing the dumbest shit everywhere, and it's just so hard to care about it. The game has so much character dialogue that luckily you can completely skip over. And it's all just, for the most part, it's all story chatter, right? I'm talking about the main storyline. It's all just useless dialogue, and half the time I feel like I'm just wasting my fucking time talking to them in the main story. So most of the time for the main story, I found myself just mashing through the spacebar. In the first 5 or so hours of the game, I really wanted to try to enjoy the story, have fun with it, listen to everything and everyone is saying, but the story half the time boils down to, hey, go here, save person, go here, do this, go here, do that. It's like they put in the story just so they can kind of get you going to places. I just don't know why the story exists. I hated it so much. It just feels like a waste of time. And it just really messed with my mind, right? So much of the story is you going to one place, spending a good amount of time going to one place, having some dialogue with someone, and then just fucking off to another side of the map just so that you can talk to someone again. It's not like a fun storyline, right? Because half the time when you're running the story, you forget that you're running the story, and then you just leave to go play the game, kill zombies, do other things, and then you're like, oh yeah, oh my god, there's a story. I have to keep playing the game to actually unlock stuff. So you're like, oh shit, I forgot. So the game actively, the story takes away from the game 100%, without a doubt in my mind. I hate all the characters. There seems to be no point for the story, and it takes you away from the fun stuff, which is actually playing the game, doing fun parkour and killing zombies. Most of the story has just, annoying parkour. Just go to Zone A, talk to someone, maybe have some dialogue, do some fighting. Of course, most of the story that is actually important and somewhat fun is you just being inside buildings, killing zombies, making your way through that. But oh my god, the travel times for the story in this and all of the annoying dialogue and talking that doesn't even matter, it's too high. So if you want a game for a good, solid storyline, right, I would not ever recommend you buy this game at all. It's not worth a AAA title price of like $60, $70. I'm in Canada, so they're priced $80 for me. I don't know what they're priced around the world anymore, so yeah, it's not worth it if you're looking for a good story, right? But other than that, the game is great. It just feels like it wasn't a zombie game through the story. It feels like the whole main storyline was actually just like a weird romance. Not really a romance, just you seeking your sister, right? And then all of the zombie stuff was like side stuff to the game. I don't know. I could probably just write down a ton of things wrong that I had with the story, so I'm just gonna stop shitting on the story. It was just so fucking bad, and it made me cry. So the gameplay of the game is so fun overall, right? The parkour of the game is really fun when you're just doing parkour, right? The times that parkour was really god-awful was in the beginning of the game, okay? The first, I would say, 3 to 5 hours of Dying Light 2 are the worst parts of Dying Light 2. Because you don't quite have enough stamina, so parkour actually kind of sucks in the beginning, because if you don't know exactly where to go and you're not speedrunning parkour, you're gonna fail it because you're going to run out of stamina a lot of the time. Doing windmills early on in the game when you don't have enough stamina is actually so bad, and it actively made me sad. But other than that, the game is fun with its parkour. That was the worst part about it though, was the early game of the parkour and the glitchiness and somewhat floatiness of the parkour, right? Like half the time I'd hit my buttons to like go do my parkour on something, and he just would, like Aiden would just go by it. He just would ignore it completely. It was very annoying. I had a lot of troubles with certain windmills. They were a huge pain. But other than that, parkour is great. Running around the city is awesome, right? The first area. Running around, jumping. Once you start unlocking more parkour abilities, it just gets so fun, right? Because you become pretty much a superhuman. Like, you're already doing super god tier levels of parkour at the beginning, but once you unlock skills, oh my god, you're literally Spider-Man. It's actually getting to such an insane degree. Later on in the game, you get a lot of upgrades. And hilariously enough, one of the most fun upgrades in the game, the grappling hook, you get within pretty much the last like 4 or 5 hours of the game. Very bad design choice by the devs there. Locking some of the most fun in the game until the end of the story, when the story was so dog shit. So bad devs. But there's a grappling hook that you unlock, and there's a paraglider that you unlock that increase and make just general parkour a lot more fun. The paraglider, I would say you unlock it about halfway through the game, maybe a little bit less actually, maybe like 1/3 into the game. And then the grappling hook legitimately like last 4 or 5 hours. It made me sad because, oh my god, once you unlock the grappling hook, your parkour skills become fucking insane, because the grappling hook is like your low tier Spider-Man. You can shoot it at places and then just pull yourself forward and like kind of cheese yourself up a building. So I was doing this thing a couple times where I would just shoot the grappling hook into the air and like just keep shooting it up, pulling myself up instead of doing proper parkour, because, you know, what's the fun of that, right? And it increased the fun of the parkour so much, because you could just do anything you wanted. You could literally grapple hook into 90% of things. Well, maybe like half of things, right? Any real surface, most of them, you could use on the grappling hook, which means you can climb up buildings with the grappling hook. You can climb inside of buildings like a monkey, just flinging around, like literally just going pew, 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 pew. It's awesome, okay? It was a lot of fun. And the best part is you can use the grappling hook as a combat mechanic, because when you use a grappling hook, shoot in the air, right? Pull yourself up, you can use that and combo it with your parkour combat abilities and like head stomp people, double tap, like kick them away. So it unlocks a lot more fun in the game in every imaginable way, combat and parkour wise. I just am so sad it took them near the end of the game to unlock it. I understand that like having a grappling hook that fun and great earlier in the game may have made a lot of the parkour and like puzzles more trivialized, but it would have been worth it for sure. So I'm sad that they left the grappling hook so late in the game. Now, I want to talk about combat and just general zombies, right? The game has a lot of stuff to do everywhere, a lot of zombie, like a lot of like loot huts and just areas to get inhibitors and unlockable type windmills, right? It's like a Far Cry game, but Dying Light. It was a very fun game, but it's just kind of weird. After the first 5 to 6 hours, it seems pretty inconsequential, and I wasn't really like at all scared or fearing death by zombie. Randomly, you'll be doing something and you'll get rushed and like sometimes instantly die by zombies, right? And it's just, there's no real good way to counter that. It just is what it is. Sometimes after cutscenes where zombies would like run around me while a cutscene was happening, I would get out of a cutscene and then they would all just hit me and I would just die. So that was actually the way I die a lot. The way I die in the game a lot was just being an idiot, goofing around, not doing combat too seriously, and not hitting parkour well. I died a lot via breaking my knees and dying. So that was fun. But no, the combat's great in that regard, right? There's so much to do everywhere. But guys, the zombies aren't terrifying after the first little bit. You realize if you just always run, it's really hard to die by the zombies outside. Even if you're just on the ground, you can very quickly get up on the rooftops and run around. It's just, the zombies didn't feel like the main aspect of the game. It was really weird. I hated it so much, but it didn't seem like the main thing of the game. If you've played Dying Light, comparing it to Dying Light 2, agree or tell me if I'm wrong, but Dying Light 1, much more focus on how terrifying and strong the zombies were. Dying Light 2, the zombies were just like kind of fodder, right? Pretty much the entire game, you don't really fight much volatiles. Volatiles as like enemies aren't really a thing that matter because I only remember killing, honestly, and fighting like 10 to 20 volatiles. The way you fight volatiles in this game is when you go out of your way to make the game harder. It does not force you to fight many volatiles, so I don't know. The game was just very, very odd for me. I honestly think, I think a lot of people are gonna say Dying Light 1 was a better game and they had a lot more fun with it, right? Sadly, I only played Dying Light 2, I didn't play Dying Light 1. I only ever ended up watching streams, YouTube videos of Dying Light 1 because I just didn't want to, you know, buy it at the time. I was too busy. And it seemed like Dying Light 1 had much more of a focus on zombies being fucking scary zombies that'll kill you. And this one in Dying Light 2, it was more so the focus was like a faction war, right? It wasn't fucking zombies. No, no, no. The focus was the politics of the humans and what the people are doing and how the people are screwing each other over and how the people are gonna destroy everything, right? No, we apparently in the Dying Light world, by Dying Light 2, zombies, who fucking cares? They're not a problem. No, the problem is everyone else because everyone sucks. So, yeah, no, honestly, I would give the story like a solid 2 out of 10. The gameplay of the game is like a solid 8 out of 10. The issue with the gameplay is it feels like the game doesn't put enough focus on the fighting of the zombies and the actual gameplay of the zombie fighting, right? It's just so weird. You can all check out, if you want, my Dying Light full playthrough. I will make sure to make a quick Dying Light 2 playthrough on YouTube because it only took about 20 or so hours, right? I streamed it all on YouTube, so if you're at all curious, you can take a look at that playlist. It's only 4 streams, so hey, not too bad, right? Only 20 hours. But god damn it, I feel like Dying Light 2 could have been better, you know? They could have focused more on the fact that it was a zombie game, less on the fact that it was a political human warfare game. I don't know. So, game was good if you want to play it for the fun gameplay. Now that I'm beaten the story, I'm more excited to go around the game, collecting and looting places and finishing up that stuff, right? I was kind of sad that I had to play through the story so long to unlock all of my good loot. So, hey, now that I'm done the game, I'm actually more happy to play the game, hilariously enough. So, I'll probably stream some of that on Twitch, but probably not too much on YouTube now. Game apparently is really buggy in co-op and kind of broken, so you might have to wait for a lot of patches and bug fixes to come out. I myself ran into a handful of bugs, had to Alt F4 the game a couple of times, and the game crashed here and there. It wasn't terrible, but it was odd. Nearing the end of the game hit black screens and took like 5 minutes to load a cutscene. The game legitimately took like 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the game to load a cutscene, and it did that in a pitch black screen, just playing music. I thought the game crashed like twice because I waited 5 minutes on stream. If you were there, you know, okay? We were just sitting on stream waiting 5-10 minutes, and it was like nothing's loading. It happened multiple times too during the stream. The worst one was at the very end of the game. Right as I beat the game, it went through the end game credits of like, oh, here's what happened, and then black screen for 10 minutes before it loaded the final cutscene, which was a minute long. So yeah, it was very weird, very buggy. I want to say Dying Light 2 is probably a good game to pick up on sale, probably good to wait a little bit till it's less buggy, because honestly, it's kind of a pain in the ass that they put a lot of the very fun stuff behind so long of a story grind where a lot of people just aren't gonna like the story, aren't gonna like the people. So hey, it's a fun game, it's worth it for the gameplay, but I'd probably, if you know, aren't super excited about it, because this February we have a lot of games, Lost Ark, Elden Ring, right? We have a ton others that I'm not following, but you know, I'm following Lost Ark, Elden Ring, Dying Light 2, Warframe updates, as always, right? Genshin updates too, right? A lot of stuff to do, so Dying Light 2 might be worth it picking up on sale in a year or two, or sorry, in a couple of months when it's maybe a little fixed up, or half a year to a year, maybe. It's up to you though. It is a good game once you get past all that, and now I'm more excited to just run around and fight things. So let me know if you do end up picking up how you think of the game. If you've already bought it, compare it to Dying Light 1. How is it, you know? Tell me what you think. I just wanted to get this chill little review out, and I'll have a little Lost Ark mini review later today. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.